Good morning, everyone. My name is JUNO. This is a little bit different of a type of video than I've ever made. I thought it was really important for me to directly address something that happened yesterday on my channel in the comment section. Kind of start a conversation and a dialogue. And the reason I'm making this video is because I believe that the next generation is watching us, whether we realize it or not. This is a great opportunity for me to address some of the things that were said, to offer some genuine solutions if someone else is thinking those same things and maybe unsure of what to do. After the Super Bowl, like many people, the halftime show with Kendrick Lamar, it sparked a lot of emotions and conversations and opinions about it. It was like one of the most viewed halftime shows ever. Anytime something happens in the culture that has a lot of people talking about it, I think that it's something that's significant. And it doesn't matter which side you're on. You could have thought it was the best performance ever. You could have thought it was boring. It's just a lot to unload there, and I'm going to talk about some of it. But I think one of the things it did for me was it brought light to some things that were in the dark. Some of my followers kind of came out the woodworks and was like, all right, we're gonna get her. I got to see how my community really like stepped up and stood up for me, which made me feel, to be honest, like really supported. There were people that I wasn't expecting. People like BB McGill. She's an amazing artist and guitarist and yoga teacher and DJ, and she does so many cool things. And then my brother, who he never really comments, really, you know how big bros are. They watching you, but they don't really say much. He's always had my back, you know, as we were kids growing up, like walking to school, walking home from school. And I kind of had that feeling of like, you know, a big bro stepping in and just people that I grew up with. Coming to a place where I feel like the community sees me and supports me really makes me feel grateful. So thank you. For the people that were messaging me and calling me racist and kind of harassing me and sending not so kind messages, I want to thank you as well, because I wrote about 3 poems and 2 songs last night. I posted a quote and a few pictures from the Kendrick Lamar performances, and my quote said that Black culture is the heartbeat of America. Boy, that made some people real uncomfortable. For the last 12 years, I have really genuinely tried to add value through guitar lessons, through sharing my journey, hoping that it inspires other people. The fact that I reached 100,000 followers, they sent me my plaque. I haven't even gotten a chance to open it yet. Out of those 100,000 followers, you may be surprised to hear this, but 80% of them are men. Literally 80%. So I'm like, okay, what have I done the last 12 years? Like, for real, like really trying to break it down. So I've posted free guitar lessons, and not just any random guitar lessons. Like, most people follow me because I do R&B soul guitar lessons. Elephant in the room, R&B soul comes from the Black community, okay? So I'm a Black woman with a Black channel teaching Black music. For someone to get upset for me to be advocating for the Black community and supporting the Black community is really just strange, because it's totally on brand for me. I have posted all kinds of things uplifting other Black guitarists. I just did a gospel guitar series with Eric Walls, who is one of the greatest guitar players alive. And he was so amazing to work with. It was so inspiring for me to be in a position to even give him a little bit of a lift and say, thank you for everything you've done for our community. Thank you for being excellent. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for the knowledge and the wisdom you shared. I've talked several times about Rosetta Tharpe, who was the person who started rock and roll. It wasn't Elvis, it wasn't Chuck Berry. Rosetta Tharpe is credited, if you really do your research, and all of the people that you would list who started rock and roll have all listed her as an inspiration to them. So, you know, I'm just kind of going on a list of like, this is not the first time I have talked about Black culture or uplifted other Black artists and Black musicians. I toured with Camila Cabello, who is a Latin artist. I worked with Machine Gun Kelly, who at the time did rap, now he does rock. I've been in many different genres and many different kind of communities, not just in the Black community, many different people from many different communities. I used to work for the YWCA of McLean County. Shout out Dante Lotson, shout out Hillary, shout out Nicole, Bent Elementary, Sheridan Elementary, where I would go into different schools and talk to kids about body boundaries and bully prevention. I have a background of being in the community even before I was in music. My mission has always been to add value, to be a positive light, and to leave things better than when I came. One of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, she says, "Be sure not to die before you do something wonderful for the world." That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the comments. The first thing I got was someone messaged me telling me that they were gonna be unsubscribing to me because it is cringe that I'm talking about being proud to be Black. Gotcha. If you're gonna unsubscribe to someone, you don't need to announce it to them. Just do it. I'm not one of those content creators or artists that are like, please subscribe. Whatever you do, subscribe. These boys start talking about you are racist. Someone said, what about all the other cultures in America and why am I not including them? If you look at anything that's trending or popular and you go back to the roots, I guarantee you, 90% of the time, it probably comes from the Black community. Whether you're talking about fashion, hair trends, I'm seeing people with baby hairs that don't even got baby hairs. I'm like, wait a minute, how you get the two? But look deeply and see how Black culture influences every single part of America. And the reason why I think that statement bothers people is because I think America tried for so long to act like Black culture was separate and American culture is John Wayne and apple pie. It's like, nah, bruh. Black culture is the heartbeat of America. We always have this kind of otherness that is used to divide us from the whole, when we are the heartbeat of the whole. You take a heart out the body and what's gonna happen? Flatline. Take Black culture out of America and you will not have any of the things that popular culture, enjoys and celebrates and copies off of. People want to talk so bad about Black culture and how negative and bad it is, but then y'all want to copy everything we do. If that bothers you, then yeah, I don't really know what to tell you. Then I got a message saying that all Black people want to do is have 5 kids so that the government can take care of them. What are you proud of when all rap music talks about is drugs, sex, money, and violence? I want to address this because maybe some other people are thinking these things. So number one, all we want to do is have 5 kids so that the government can take care of them. It feels weird that I have to even address this. That is not true. And it's based on stereotypes. It's based on something you probably read on Twitter or saw in the media, heard some other ignorant person say that you repeated. But I think that it speaks to the negative tone and the negative ideas that people have about Black people who don't actually know Black people, who don't actually spend time in Black communities, who don't actually have any real life relationships with Black people. Comments like that are not helpful, but it kind of just makes you look ignorant, judgmental, and racist. There are many communities of people who have young girls, who have babies, who are not married, who have multiple children by multiple fathers. That is not solely happening in the Black community. That happens in many different communities. Moving on to the drugs, sex, money, and violence. Art is a reflection of the environment that the artist is in. And there are many different themes in hip hop. You got storytelling. You have, people talking about mental health. People bringing light to the issues that are happening in their communities. Art is not a dissertation. It's not an essay. It's not a political speech, right? A lot of times for artists to be heard, they have to be radical or they have to be shocking. Oftentimes, those are the artists that get the attention and get the light, the controversy, and the conversations started that need to be had. It's frustrating to hear other communities try and police us. I heard somebody say like, oh, well, men in hip hop are vulgar and dangerous. The men in rock and roll aren't quite gentlemen, are they? One dude sagging his pants and standing on the corner, okay, and you're threatened by that. But what about the white boy with the got the hair over his eye and the lip ring and the nails and the dog chains? And I can go to any community and point out people who are not representing it in a positive light. But if you look deeper, there's always a reason why, even with the troubled white goth teen, right? There's always some type of pain there. There's always some type of message they're trying to send. And I feel like the Black community is always demonized whenever we try and speak out. Because we're not heard when we say it calmly, oftentimes we gotta be radical. A revolution by definition is going to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to stir you up. It's supposed to make you challenge what you think. It's supposed to be kind of like, did she just say that? Did he just say that? Yeah, I did just say that. Anytime the Black community tries to speak up about things, there's no broader context or perspective implemented there. It's just like, oh, that's just negative and ghetto. That was the point of Uncle Sam, Samuel Jackson, kind of saying that. right on the Super Bowl saying like, this is too ghetto. Look at the environments that we're in. Look at the schools, look at our roads, and look at our communities, and look at the foods we have access to. If you are actually for real, genuinely like so bothered by the negativity that you hear in any Black music, help the environments and the communities that we grow up, help them to be safer, help them to have access to the same resources that your community has, and then maybe the art will reflect differently. So how can you do that? Go to any Black community. You can donate to a church, you can donate to a school, you can donate to, they got Boys and Girls Clubs, they got Martin Luther King centers, daycares, they got all kinds of organizations and people trying to start community that could really use some financial assistance that will give them access to better resources. And that could be your way of saying, you know what, I want to contribute to these people having a more positive experience in the world. Maybe in the next few years, that'll begin to reflect in their art. Every neighborhood does not have the privilege of safety, of peace, access to resources. So if you have a problem with the way that the Black community acts, then go invest. Put your money where your mouth is and help them out. My second solution is to volunteer and be a mentor, even if it's to one person. I dare you to mentor one kid a year in business. Show them how to set up an LLC. Show them how to invest. Show them how to network. Give them an opportunity. Give them an internship. Y'all so worried about us, but you're not doing nothing to invest in our communities. You're not doing nothing to mentor or give back to our communities. As an adult in the world, it's your responsibility to make up what the world is. So if you got a problem with something, then do some research and see how you can help. I think this actually united us because it's causing us to have conversations. It really challenged me because I was really bothered, but I had to remember that quote. Don't argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Sending y'all love and light. Thanks for having coffee with me even though I didn't take any sips.